Tonight, our special transmission as global calls for ceasefire grow. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. Today is the 131st day since Israel started its indiscriminate war on Palestine. Palestinian Health Ministry reports killing of 87 people and 104 injuries over the past 24 hours. The Nusayrat camp in central Gaza is facing heavy attacks. 11 Palestinians have been killed in a residential building. The casualties include children. Israeli forces have entered Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis after evacuating occupants. There are reports of heavy firing from tanks and machine guns. Al Jazeera reporters have documented attacks on people both inside and outside the hospital. The Arab League head has warned against an Israeli ground offensive in Rafah. Over half of Gaza's population is seeking refuge in Rafah. International leaders are urging Israel to spare civilians. They say Israel's offensive can lead to a humanitarian catastrophe. On the international front, Israeli warplanes have struck Lebanon's Wadi Saluki area. The death toll from Israel's war is alarming. At the time of writing, 28,663 Palestinians have been killed. Another 8,000 Palestinians are presumed dead under the rubble. Israel's revised death toll from Hamas's attacks stands at 1,139. Several members of the United Nations, including Turkey and Arab countries, are calling on the Security Council to intervene in Gaza. Palestinian envoy Riyad Mansour says it is the duty of the Security Council to establish a ceasefire and prevent the Israeli army from invading Rafah. Mansour warns that Israel is planning to expel the displaced Palestinians to Egypt's Sinai. He says it is urgent to halt a potential humanitarian disaster. He is urging the Security Council to pass a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire. The Vatican has urged Israel to halt its attacks on Gaza. Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin says there is a need for alternative solutions to the Gaza issue. He is condemning any form of anti-Semitism while urging Israel to ensure its defensive actions are proportionate. Israel's ongoing offensive has resulted in tens of thousands of civilian deaths, predominantly women and children. The conflict has also triggered a humanitarian crisis and significant infrastructure damage. Israel faces charges of violating the Genocide Convention and has been summoned before the International Court of Justice. U.S. President Joe Biden has put forward a plan for a 6-week pause in Israel's Gaza offensive, aiming to result in a broader ceasefire. Following discussions with Jordan's King Abdullah, Biden says there are efforts to halt the fighting to facilitate humanitarian aid and prisoner release. The proposed ceasefire seeks to provide relief to Palestinians amidst escalating violence. King Abdullah says there is an urgency for a lasting ceasefire. He denounces the ongoing conflict. The news comes as Israel plans a ground offensive in Rafah. Nearly 1.5 million Palestinians are seeking refuge in Rafah. Biden, previously supportive of Israel, now urges caution to prevent civilian casualties. The proposal marks a significant diplomatic effort to address the dire situation in Gaza and pave the way for a sustainable peace agreement. Reports show that the U.S. has employed a unique Ginsu missile to assassinate a senior Kataib Hezbollah official in Baghdad, Iraq. This modified missile is equipped with 6 blades and aims to directly hit the target. The strike was allegedly in retaliation for an attack on the U.S. soldiers in Jordan, attributed to Kataib Hezbollah. The missile is named after Japanese Ginsu kitchen knives because of its 6 1-meter-long blades. The knives eject from the missile and are capable of cutting through 100 pounds of metal and apartment buildings. The missile aims to reduce civilian casualties in crowded areas. This weapon has been used previously in similar urban strikes, including strikes against al-Qaeda leaders. The incident has reignited discussions on the U.S. troop presence in Iraq. While the U.S. claims only 1 casualty, reports suggest another high-ranking official was also killed. Iran-linked hackers disrupted BBC and several European TV streaming services in the UK, the UAE, and Canada with a fake news broadcast on Gaza. The attack occurred in early December. The hackers utilized AI-generated anchors for the first time. The broadcast depicted graphic images of alleged Israeli actions in Gaza. Microsoft attributes the disruption to the group Cotton Sandstorm. The group is also known for humanity and has been previously sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury. Experts say the attack was technically sophisticated. An investigation has been launched into the incident by the U.S. authorities. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's first visit to Egypt in a decade shows a significant shift towards reconciliation between the two nations. Welcomed by Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, their meeting focuses on bilateral ties and Israel's war on Gaza. Relations between the two Middle Eastern countries soured after Sisi's coup in 2013. The leaders have signed agreements aiming for a $15 billion annual trade increase and collaboration in Middle East and Africa affairs. Erdogan is condemning Israel's actions in Gaza and urging international intervention. On the other hand, Sisi criticizes Israel's obstruction of humanitarian aid. The visit occurs amidst efforts to broker peace between Israel and Hamas. Jewish-American actress Selma Blair has issued a public apology following backlash for her anti-Muslim remarks on Instagram. Blair admits to conflating Muslims with radical elements and expresses deep regret for hurting individuals unintentionally. She pledges to promote tolerance and peace, vowing to learn from her mistake. The original comment, made in response to a video linked to Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, was widely condemned as Islamophobic. It called for the deportation of alleged terrorists supporting goons and made sweeping generalizations about Islam. The Council on American Islamic Relations condemned Blair's remarks, urging her to engage in dialogue with the Muslim community. Blair's peers, including Michael Rappaport and Deborah Messing, also faced criticism for their controversial comments. A recent study reveals a concerning rise in hate crimes across Canada, reaching a record high in 2022. The data collected by Statistics Canada shows the impact of hate crimes extends beyond immediate victims and is impacting the mental and physical health of residents. The rate of hate crimes nationally has almost doubled in 2022 from 2019. There have been 9.2 incidents per 100,000 population, in comparison to 5.2 incidents in 2019. While the study highlights a correlation between hate crimes and poorer quality of life indicators, it remains uncertain whether one directly causes the other. Thank you for watching. Muslim Network TV is a proud media partner of the Ramadan Expo 2024. You can watch our special transmission for the Expo on our YouTube channel. We need your support so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.